I remember a time when AC Milan were not only viewed as one of the biggest clubs on planet Earth, but actually had a half-decent team to go with it. Not Fabio Borini up front. Anyway, that club have sadly crumbled away over the last decade, but let's take a look at 11 players that I bet you didn't know spent time at the San Siro. I bet one smart young fella is going to pipe up now and say he knew them all.
Oh, pick me, teacher, I'm ever so smart.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I don't know why AC Milan has such a pent-up stiffy for the Aubameyang family. It's bordering on creepy at this stage. Not only did Pierre start his career at the Milanese Giants, but so too did his brothers Catalina and Willie. Oh, and his father is still employed there as a scout. Milan eventually cleared out the kids with one first-team appearance between the three of them. Catalina has gone on to end up at FC Fagnano Olano, who barely have a Wikipedia page, while the height of Willie's career was 6 games at Kilmarnock 7 years ago. The fact Pierre-Emerick has ripped European defences to shreds as if they were made out of paper mache though, while AC Milan have had to put up with Mario Balotelli and God help us all, Adel Taarabt, it's a wonder they haven't had their football director hung in the streets like Benito Mussolini. Logan put the camera away. Fabrizio Caracini. For a man who spent 5 years at the San Siro, it says it all that nobody really remembers it. Between the years of 1999 and 2004, when AC Milan were at the height of their powers, as opposed to doing their summer shopping at the Poundland that is Sunderland AFC, the Argentine defender was being shunted out on loan every year, before finally getting the hint at signing for Deportivo La Coruña in 2004, the club who just dumped Milan out of the Champions League the previous season, after being 4-1 down in the first leg. And then they travelled to Dublin in August and couldn't score against Wes Hoolahan's Shelburne. Good times. Christ, Wes is old. Christian Vieri. Christian Vieri has had 15 transfers in his career. The man was a journeyman. Yes, while he was at Inter Milan during the early 2000s, the Italian was one of the most lethal strikers in Europe, and then by about 2005 he was about as useful as a dried up peanut, and probably thought he'd won the lottery when he signed for Champions League finalists AC Milan. He didn't even have to move house. You might think, what a treacherous rat. But hey, given a choice between the 5-time European champions and Graham Souness, there was only going to be one winner. He spent 8 games there, scored 1 goal before being kicked out the door to Monaco in January, this being when Monaco were god awful. For God's sake, Kylian Mbappe was 7 years old. Matteo Darmian. When Matteo Darmian was a kid, if you told him that he'd go on to play for both AC Milan and Manchester United, he'd probably think he was going to be the next Pele or something. Not quite. Yeah, he began his career at the San Siro. He played 4 games there before being chucked out to Palermo in 2010, then Torino the following year before Louis van Gaal showed early signs of probable dementia by giving him a 4-year deal. Aguchi Onyewu. Built like a brick house and with a very contrasting and strange CV. There were stints in France, Belgium, Holland, Portugal, Spain, England, Philadelphia and bizarrely Italy, where he played a grand total of 0 league games for AC Milan between 2009 and 2011. What a monumental waste of time. Mancini. This fella was an obscure winger from the 2000s, famous for his headache-inducing stepovers, but the Brazilian winger toured up in Italian football. Well, for about 5 years for Roma before signing for Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan in 2008, where he suddenly seemed to lose the ability to produce anything of note, and was then dumped on AC, whose standards were ever declining. 7 games, no goals, before being chucked off to Brazil, where he was never seen again. Because as we all know, the only people in Europe that watch Brazilian football are gambling addicts shoving tenors on teams they've never heard of. Socrates Papastopoulos. Considering pronouncing names is not my strong point, I already hate Socrates Papas whatever for coming to England. Couldn't he have just stayed at Germany at a club who I hardly ever talk about? Mr. P was another lad who barely got any game time at AC, playing 5 games at the San Siro between 2010 and 2012. Philippe Senderos played nearly 3 times more than that. Bojan. Remember when Bojan was the next Lionel Messi? Oh my god, it's so long ago now. I bet he didn't expect to be struggling to get into a championship team in Stoke-on-Trent at the age of 28. 5 years ago he was on loan at AC Milan, having failed to cut it at Roma, and scored 3 goals in 19 games. Despite this, he earned a move back to Barcelona, only to get sold to Stoke the following year without ever touching a ball for them. What a bizarre decision. Adel Taarabt. Okay, I know everyone knows about Adel Taarabt's loan spell at AC Milan, but I'm revisiting it just purely for how goddamn bizarre that was. This was a man who was failing miserably at QPR. Yeah, I know he could rip it up against the likes of Ipswich or Bristol City, but in the Premier League he was about as much use as an un's tits. How was such incompetence rewarded with a low move to AC Milan? I'll tell you how, because this was 2014 and that club was a virtual mess. They'd finished 10th that season. 10th? Are you for real? Behind Torino and Sampdoria? Good lord. Edgar Davids. Okay, so some of you might remember this, but Edgar Davids, the man most famous for a 2-season spell at Barnet, actually played for AC Milan in 1996. Yes, this lower league supremo, who also had a 6-game spell with Crystal Palace, and even tested his luck in the Premier League with Tottenham, punched far above his station when he linked up with the Milanese Giants. I'm sure he had some tales to tell his friends in League 2 of that one season he spent at the San Siro. Okay, I'm not an idiot, I'm well aware Davids was a world-class midfield general, and played for Juventus, Barcelona and Inter Milan, not just for a team with Leon Pio in it, but he did also fail at Milan. 19 league games was not good enough and he was sold to Juventus in 1997. Big mistake. Christophe Dugarry. Any Birmingham fans in the house? No, well, that's just perfect. Whatever. That same season, Christophe Dugarry, the man who'd go on to win the World Cup with France, and would go on to eventually get asked about 50 times a day, why the hell did you sign for Steve Bruce, actually played 27 games for AC Milan, scoring 5 goals before being sold to Barcelona in 1997, where he scored nothing in 7 appearances. On second thoughts, how the hell did he get on the plane to that World Cup?